Rabbit and Gina podcast.
T and I went down last night, my 11-year-old. We went to, what's it called? Central Coast Leagues Park. It's also called the Tidal Park. Have you been to it?
I haven't been, but I've driven past lots. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. So, and it's got the, they let the tide in and out. It's not actually...
Oh, really? When you said
yeah.
Tidal Park, I thought, what? Why? What?
Yeah. So it's actually not controlled by the tide because apparently when there's been heaps of rain, it can be really polluted in the Brisbane water sort of area. So they don't let the water in for the
Right.
kids to splash around. I think it gets up to like nearly knee deep. But there's sand all through there and it's
how
I've
fun.
never been there when the tide's in. It was in last night when they let it in. And so T and I was splashing it around. Actually, now I think of it, but he had heaps of rains. There's probably heaps of pollution. Oh, well.
As long as you didn't put your head under.
I'm fine. Oh, I drank some. Well, when you're thirsty. God, that's Harley Doggerson, man, my Kelpie. When we go down to the beach and she gets thirsty, she runs down to the water. I'm like, don't.
But it's water, Dad.
She drink it up. I'm like, man, it's just all going to end up on the back seat of the car at some point on the drive
It's
home.
true.
And it does. So I have
Yeah.
like 4 towels down on the back
Yeah.
seat because it's a bunch of salt water that needs to find its way back. Anyway, so we went there and, they got that big... So have you seen the big steel swirly slide?
I have noticed it as I've driven by.
Now, obviously, the slide's hot in summer.
Yeah.
That thing's made for winter, although at the moment it's, it's wet as well, so you get a wet butt as you're going down it. But
Did
at
you
least-
go down?
No, I still haven't done it yet. There's always kids around, and I don't know.
You don't want to take their turn?
Here's the thing, I'd push them out of the way. Like, there's a line, I go past and go, oi, get
Hey.
to the back. I'd be like the big bully walking through, like Nelson. Pushing kids over.
And then it could end up like Homer who got stuck.
That's actually one of my concerns. It is. They look like very tight turns down that slide.
Yeah. And where you had to get the crane in. Homer Simpson had to get the crane and get the piece taken out because he
God,
got
I
stuck.
don't want to make headlines for that. Man stuck in kids slide at kids playground. But at least it's not, those plastic ones. Remember the old, do they even make plastic ones anymore? When you slide down those and you cop those, the static shocks. Where you get it.
It's been a long time since I was on
Really?
a slippery dip. I've been on water slides. But not
Producer Loz, I bet she's still of the age where she's allowed to do. Kids don't even look sideways at her. She's shorter than most of them anyway.
Oh my God. I have been here 27 minutes. I reckon I've had like 4 digs at me.
But they're funny ones.
But they're good ones.
You know the plastic slide, that
Yeah.
green plastic.
Yeah, the green and like the yellow.
Yeah, and the yellow ones.
Yeah,
You
my
get
best
off
friend has a
those.
little one, so we always go to different parks. Can confirm they are still a thing.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you called that a diss just before when I said, Loz would still do slides and stuff. How dare you? Anyway, my friend and
Anyway, when I was at the park last week.
those static shocks, I get irrationally angry when I get a static shock.
Do you?
Oh, God. It takes me from 0 to furious in half a second because it's just... It's so... And I don't know if it's a flashback. I copped an electric shock like a proper... Guys, not talking like a static shock, but a proper full 240 volts one when I was a teenager. I had this guitar amp and I just got a big old Valve amp and I was looking around the back. There's lots of knobs and dials and things. I don't know what anything was. And I was playing around with all these things on the back and I saw this one that said fuse. And I went, what's a fuse? Fuse. And I twiddled with it and went, oh, it comes undone. And so I undid it. And I pulled it out. And it's this glass tube with a metal thing on each end.
Yeah. I've
And I
seen
went,
them.
that's a fuse. Okay, now I know what a fuse is. And then I put it back in and I pushed it in with my finger. It's all still plugged in. So I think the electrical current generally goes through a fuse and then to the power to the rest of the thing. But instead it went through the fuse into my finger and the rest of my body. And when I woke up,
Knocked you out.
straight out. When I woke up, I was on the floor in the corner of my room looking around for who had hit me across the
really?
back of the shoulder blades with a baseball bat. That's what I thought. I thought someone had come in and gone bang.
Ow.
And I'm sitting there and I was so confused. And I looked up at the amp and I went, Ooh, that's what a fuse does. Oh, I've never messed with a fuse since
No,
then.
lesson learnt.
This is how you learn.
How old were you?
Like 16, 17, I guess.
Did your mum go grey early?
Yeah, around 16, 17 when I was...
The Rabbit and Gina podcast.
I swear on a Sunday, Rod, my husband Rod, he does big hours in the studio. If it starts raining on a Sunday, he's like, yes, because he knows that means we're not going to go for a walk. And
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember I told you when we first met, he's like a real old dog. I take him for a walk and he just stops halfway. He wants to turn around and go home.
If you drag him by his lead,
And I'm
how do you pick him up? Which way? How do you handle it? State you tie him to a letterbox and go, I'll go get the car, wait here. Sit. Rod, sit. Don't do that on their lawn.
Stop licking that. Yeah, so we look out yesterday and I went, oh, lucky for you. I was just about to say, let's go for a walk, and it starts pelting down. So it's a perfect time to find a TV show that we want to watch that we like. And we really struggle to find things that we both like, because I like romance and comedy and he likes guns and helicopters.
Okay,
stuff. I think
yeah.
he likes probably similar to what you like, potentially.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that'll tick both boxes. Romance, comedy, guns. Guns and helicopters.
It's very difficult to tick those boxes. Occasionally we find one that we both, and we found one yesterday, and I thought to myself, Rabs would really like this too, because there was lots of times I had to actually walk away, or sometimes I'd put my hands over my eyes.
Oh, this sounds good so far. This is good.
And I
'Cause
literally...
You know what I'm right into watching at the moment? I'm back into Sons of Anarchy. I've gone right back to season 1, episode 1. We should watch Sons of Anarchy together.
See, would that be too much for me?
Oh my God! My daughter went to come into the room last night to say good night, and I shouted no so loud and fast. I said, no, don't look! And I've had to back out to the main Netflix, Disney or whatever it is I'm watching menu. I'm like, all right.
What?
Come in. and that just seems so sus. I'm
Especially
like,
she goes to Sav, Mum, Dad just did this weird thing. What's going on?
Watching stuff, I go into the room and he yells no and gets all weird. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
it's incredibly violent. And right at that point, I was
Yeah,
like,
no, no,
this
I
will
wouldn't like
mess
that.
you up for life if
Yeah.
you see what I'm looking at
No,
right
I wouldn't
now.
like that. So I did have to close my eyes a few times, but you would have liked it. And you can hear it's even the sound effects. No. What's the sound of a punch? You know.
Well, that's what it's, okay, so no one gets to see what actually happened. Gina just punched me in the face.
That's what that sounds
What
like.
does it sound like? Yeah.
Anyway, it sounds violent stuff. So I walk away a lot, and Rod's right into it, and
Oh my
we
God.
watched the whole series in like
I
the
wonder
whole
if
the
it's
weekend.
I don't think I've talked about this with you. I wonder if
It's-
it's this. It just is it from 2022?
Oh,
Just
I don't
came
know.
out.
Potentially, it's from a book, so it's from a
God!
series
Oh,
that
God! Oh,
Rod
God! I saw
loves
it.
the books.
I know
Dad
what it
loves
is.
the books.
I saw it on. I was flicking through. It's on Amazon Prime Video.
Yes.
Yes, and it came up in the main banner, and I went,
Do you
"Oh
know
my
what?
God!"
You're going to win
But
something
I'm in-
if you get this right.
I'm watching Sons of Anarchy. I need to get through everything so that I can get to
Reacher.
Reacher.
Yeah.
I win! I'm not kidding. I was thinking about this
It's so
morning.
good.
I just finished a new Reacher book last night. So Jack Reacher, the series of books by Lee Child.
Yep.
I just finished one, and
Yeah.
then I saw this and I went running upstairs.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a TV series, Reacher.
It's really good, and so I haven't read the books, but Rod's read the books, and I said, "Is it ruining it for you because you know it's going to happen?" He goes, "No, not really." He knows a lot about
There's
so,
like 30 books or something.
yeah,
I'm not sure which
but stuff
one it
like
is.
apparently Reacher goes into like thrift shops for his clothes,
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff, and he's
Well,
this
he doesn't
big-
wash 'em.
No, he just gets new one, second-hand ones.
6'4", I think he is.
6'4", 6'5", and he's
Yeah.
like this massive guy. And there was a movie that came out that Tom Cruise starred in, and I remember Rod going, "No,
It's
no,
so
no,
funny.
no,
This is-
no,
this is
no,"
so funny.
because he's the wrong. Whereas this guy's
Yeah.
like, and he's very producer Loz. He looks kind of nice when he takes his shirt off.
He's
Just
got
saying.
blue eyes.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, he's
googled
ripped.
the actor.
Yeah.
He's
got a-
a big boy.
He's a big boy. He's got a nice little sexy.
Nice little sexy. Yeah, I did. I kid you not. When I was in the bathroom this morning, God knows why, Well, not God knows why I was in the bathroom. But why I was thinking about this at the time, I was thinking about this TV show because I'm that excited to start watching it. But not yet. I've got to finish 8 seasons of Sons of Anarchy.
You don't have to. There's no rule. It says you've got to.
I make my own rules, and they're weird. And I was thinking about it, and I was saying to myself, I'm so glad they've got it right this time, because when it came out with Tom Cruise in the movie, everyone's like, I'm sorry, what? Who are you, Jack Reacher's little friend? Like, it's just not the same size and look that the books portray.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well,
and so, did Rod love it? Is it good?
He loved it.
Okay.
We went to my mum and dad's house because Dad's read all the books too, so we set it up for Mum and Dad.
Oh, this is great.
And I think they would have watched most of it yesterday, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
Mum would have had to look away a few times like me as well.
Oh, yeah, he beats the living daylights out of people, like, all the time.
But he's really nice.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's a bit different to the books. Well, like, that's not. Yeah, they've certainly niced it up a bit. I think maybe for that.
Yeah, well, nice in a murdery kind of way.
Oh, okay, yeah, good.
The Rabbit and Gina podcast.
Our producer Loz came into the studio this morning. She told us about something big that happened over the weekend. We're like, ooh.
Yeah, she got a little spark in her sparkly eyes, a little spring in her
She's
step.
got some news to share. She's got a real glow going on. Let me just say that as well. So it wouldn't surprise me. And she's not drinking.
I don't know about that bitch.
Oh no, these are. Have you met her? No. So no, but something big happened on the weekend, and I thought, look, we could spend a bit of time here and just have we'll go back to when we remember when this happened for us, because it's a big moment that's happened for Loz. What happened on the weekend?
I took my new boyfriend to meet my family for the first time.
Wait, so obviously they know all about him and stuff. and
Yeah,
hear all the
yeah,
stories.
they know all about him. It's just the first boy I brought home. I was in a really long relationship before this one, and then took a bit of a gap.
Yeah.
It's the first boy I've brought home in about 8 years.
Okay.
So the pressure was on.
How did he go?
How did they go? Was Dad standing there with a shotgun at the door or something?
Yeah.
Did he do that stuff?
That's what I thought. Like, I thought, we'll see what Mark will do. Like, my dad, like my stepdad, like, he's just wonderful, best man, so kind. But, you know, when it comes to boys, he can be a bit laid on, a bit thick.
Yeah.
And just be a bit strict.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I just tell a quick little story about this Michael that you're talking about?
Mark.
So,
Mark.
I call him Michael.
Oh, sure. Yeah, whatever.
So Mark, Michael, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, every time a Tom Cruise movie comes out, him and Loz go and see it together.
I love that.
It's their little thing. Except for the
It's our
latest
little
one, which
thing.
he went to by himself.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
We don't talk about it.
So he's a lovely man, but bringing back the new boy.
Yeah.
How was Joel feeling about it?
He said he was a little bit nervous, but he doesn't really get nervous.
Yeah.
Like, he's just this happy sunshine human all the time. We were on the way, and he's like, okay, we need to stop at a bottle and I'll get a 6-pack for Mark and a bottle of wine for Michelle.
Oh.
And I was like, babe, like, no, it's all good. Don't worry about that. And he's like, can you let me? And I'm like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, I like that.
So he
That's
went
nice.
in, like,
Never would've
knowing,
thought of that.
he knew what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was all over it.
Yeah, okay.
And then, normally Mark's a bit like, a bit standoffish for the first little
Yeah.
bit.
Uh-huh.
I reckon 5 minutes in, I didn't even need to be there.
You could have left.
I was like,
He's already their favourite.
Loz is the
literally.
third
yeah.
wheel.
Yeah, I heard Mark at the end, like, he had all these prawns for some reason, and we went to the bay after that for the weekend, and he was like, oh, Joel, I'll put some in a little bag for you. Here you go. Lauren won't eat them, but you absolutely take them, like, all this stuff. He's like, you'll have to come back. It doesn't matter if Lauren's not there. I'm like,
Yeah. You've been replaced.
do you feel like if it, and would never want this to happen, but if the two of you were to break up, he'd get the parents?
maybe. Oh, actually.
Feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. Sorry, we have to choose.
Sorry, Loz, you can't come around this weekend. We've got Joel here.
No.
And that'd be uncomfortable.
The worst, like the biggest salt in the wound. We walked in, and you guys know how much I love my dogs at my parents' house. Like, so excited to see them. Opened the door, I was like, hello, my babies. Straight past me.
Well, he's the shiny
And I was
new
like,
object. Yeah.
But I hadn't seen them in like a month. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
No worries. And they came back. I'm like,
Too late.
Too little, too late.
I
a good
love that it went
sign.
well.
So
it all
well.
went great. That's good.
So
He was a
well.
little bit nervous and he stopped to buy things. How'd things go with, do you
that's
remember
cute.
Rod meeting your parents?
Yeah, I do. I do remember. So we had Uncle Des and Auntie Yvonne were there as well, who I spoke about last
Great.
week, the week before. And my boyfriend before Rod was David. So
The one that got away, you always refer to him as
He's a very like manly name, like David, Rod.
yeah,
David.
So,
David.
so Auntie Yvonne, I'm like, Auntie Yvonne, this is Rod, and she goes, okay, and she
Rod.
just,
Oh, wait, what?
when I introduced Rod, Auntie Yvonne just kept calling him David.
I was
For
like, I
years.
thought this was a David story.
No, it was a David.
I
Well, it was
love
a
all the
Rod
David
story,
stories.
But Auntie Yvonne called Rod David for years.
Oh, no.
For years. Auntie Yvonne, it's Rod. Yeah, so that's one of my biggest memories of, and look, I have a whole lot of
But
stories.
how tough for him. So Rod's gone around and not only mum and dad there, but Auntie Yvonne and Uncle
And Uncle Des.
Uncle Des. So
They're
it's
all
the
there.
four of them.
Yeah.
Was he nervous? Do you remember? This is a
He
long
wouldn't have
time
been
ago.
nervous. Yeah, it's a long time ago. He wouldn't be. He's the most beautiful human on the planet, and they just same thing. Like,
Yeah.
how's Rod? Where's Gina? I don't know. You know, it's like
It's a big thing. Win over the parents, man. I learned that as a teenager.
How did you go with Sav's folks?
Not as well.
Do tell.
Not as well. Sav had always known that she'd been living in the UK, had flown back to New Zealand to see the parents. We met, and it was really just a bit of a fling. And she was then one morning came in, dropped off a card to me at a studio at the radio station I was working at, and said that she was heading off. Don't open the card until I've left. Okay. She left. I opened the card. She's on her way to the airport. She's flying back to the UK.
Oh.
And she said other things in this card, and I went and I called my mum and dad, and I went, I'm not ready for a big relationship, but I think she's the one. Blah, 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 blah. And I went back to my flatmates, Hootie and the Blowfish, and I said to them, I don't know what to do, and then I think I found out. Oh, that's right. I called the airline that she was flying with. This is back in the days when you could get this kind of information out of airlines. I gave them her name, and they told me where she was flying out of and what time.
What?
And turns out it's about 5 hours away, this airport. She was flying out of Dunedin. And so I was like standing there going, I got off the phone and I said to the boys, what do I do? Hootie and the Blowfish. And they said, think you got to do it. And I'm like, oh God.
It sounds like a
But I'm not
movie.
I know. And I'm like, but I'm not ready. But and through all of this, I've been ringing around everywhere trying to track her down and see where she is. And then the phone rings, and it's her. So it's been hours by this point. It's her. That's right. I didn't have any money. I had no money. I was broke as. So I had called a rental car company and told them the story, and they were going to give me a car.
Oh, this is a movie.
Hootie and the Blowfish were going to chip in for gas so that I'd be able to go. I had no money at all.
You're a real catch.
Phone ring. Oh, let me give you the full picture then. I'm standing there in my denim chambray shirt with my long mullet and my super skinny tight jeans with rips in them. I was Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
Just to be clear.
Were your jeans acid washed?
Of course they were. Not an idiot. Anyway, phone rings and there's Sav on the phone. And she goes, what's going on? I've got messages from everyone all over the place saying that you're trying to get hold of me. This is before mobile phones. So I've been ringing everyone's home phones. I've been ringing hotels. I've been ringing everywhere trying to find her. And she says, what do you want? And I'm like, hang on. And I went and spoke to Hootie and the Blowfish for a bit longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I said, guys, she's about to get on the plane, like literally about to board the plane to go back to England, and I'll never see her again. And they said, you got to do it. And I got back on the phone and I said, can you, not go?
Oh.
And so she didn't.
Oh.
She did not hop on the plane. She went and told her parents, hey, you know Bon Jovi, but he's asked me to stay.
Oh.
And they went, that dropkick.
No. It really?
Don't laugh, Loss.
Those words.
No way. Not him. No. And because they knew all the stories she'd been telling them about me because she was only around for a few weeks. And then she was going to be going back to England. So she's telling all these funny stories about this guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, ugh.
No.
Fine, you have your fun, and then you get back over to England.
Yeah.
And go and find the man of your dreams. And so then they hopped in the car and sat in silence for the 6-hour drive
No.
back to come back to me. And then she got back, and I wasn't there. So I'd had to go into work. And she got dropped off at my place, and we moved in together that day.
Wow.
And have been together since.
Oh.
And that was around 200 years ago.
That's
and,
lovely.
And I get on great with her mum and dad now.
Thank goodness.
Get on great with them. But they did not see all of this coming at that point. 6 hours of silence in the car on
That's
the
fun.
drive back. They were fuming. Oh. But they're lovely.
And do they love you
And,
really, or are they just pretending?
I don't know. I'm not. The jury's still out.
The Rabbit and Gina Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.